When I first got in the business, my desire was to hit the ground running and start making money. And I thought, well, what's the best way to do that? And the thing that occurred to me is here I sit in the real estate office with my multi-list book and my phone book, and I'm thinking, how do I, get out there and start immediately contacting people and being able to, communicate and make that connection so that I could actually get leads. And I thought, what's the odds of me doing that here in this real estate office? Not. I never sold a house to another realtor. So here's the deal. I thought, what does the customer want? What does the customer really want to do to connect with me? Well, they don't like salespeople. Most of them don't really even want to come in contact with a salesperson. So I thought, they want to see the product. So I asked around the office and I said, what about doing open houses? And the first three people looked at me and said, they don't work. You know what, open house is a waste of time. It's a lot of sitting and doing nothing, and you'll do good, you'll fall asleep, it's a real pain. But I figured, you know what, I'm gonna go try it because I need to know firsthand whether or not it works or doesn't work. So what I did is I first of all, I decided to research the listings that was in my real estate office and find the property that best was the most likely one to sell next. And also I found the one that was in my target market. We talked about that earlier and we're going to talk about that more. But you want to find properties that's within the area that you want to specialize in. That's the one you want to hold open because guess what? That's the clients that come look at it. That's the people. It'll be neighborhood people that come look at it. It'll be people who want to live in that neighborhood. Either way, you win. So think about it this way. You're setting up your retail store. That's really what you're doing. You're going to get to pick and choose where you set up your retail store at. And guess what? It doesn't cost you any overhead. Owner's paying for it. Isn't that cool? So you got to have the right equipment though to set up that open house. And I'm telling you, you can't bring enough glitz and glitter to that open house. Streamers, I did open houses at night, whatever you got to do to create attention to that house. Put a lot of signs out leading into the property is really important. So what is the value of doing an open house? Well, it's probably obvious that, if you're there and people come in, you get to greet them, you get to meet them. But you got to be, the appearance is really important. How you greet them is really important. Think of it this way. When somebody comes to your home to visit you and they're really, really important, maybe an old high school buddy you haven't seen for years and years, and you're wanting to show off your house and you want to show off your family and you want to show off yourself and you really want to greet them. When they pull up out front, do you wait inside till he comes up and knocks on the door? Probably not. The best thing to do if you really want to make them feel welcome is watch for them when they come, open the front door, open the storm door, step outside, take about 3 steps to every one of theirs with a great big huge smile on your face and say, hey, welcome. Nice to meet you folks. And shake their hand with a big smile on your face. Because it's that first couple of seconds that makes a difference as to whether or not, because see what you don't know, and I'm telling you now, after 40 years in the business, they're really shopping a realtor, they're not shopping a house. But they're not conscious of it. If you said that to them, they'd say, not true. We don't want to work with a salesman. But you're not a salesperson. You're a people person. You're a person that understands and sees the value to work in the business from the perspective of working with people as opposed to working with houses. See, remember, the house is just a retail store. See, I sold shoes years ago, and when I sold shoes, I learned that if the way I sell shoes is through a huge attitude, to be positive, get in that frame of mind, whatever it took. When I went to go sell shoes, I knew that I had to shake it off. If I had something bad going on in my mind or in my life, shake it off, get in the right frame of mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach that in our classes. We're going to teach you how to become the very best at having your retail store open. I'd suggest 5 days a week. If you don't have appointments, you don't have things scheduled, then go do open houses. You may only do it 3 hours a day. I mean, if you can't do 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, 15 hours, then you need to get out of the business today. And I'm going to tell you, I don't care how good you are at the business. I don't care how seasoned you are in the business. If you're not doing open houses, you'll lose touch with doing real estate. Because if think about it, it's your retail store. It's what you do. I mean, I'll tell you an example. One time when I was first getting started in the business, my brother and I had listed a house over in Ravenwood in Springfield, Missouri. And we just listed it. And we held the house open. We did an open house on it. Got an ad, managed to get an ad in the newspaper last second on a Friday, and was going to hold it open on Sunday. And I went over to hold it open, and I sat there all day, and I think I had 2 couples come through the house. And I was having a rough time keeping my eyes open, and I had to jump around and walk around the house a lot, go around the backyard, and I wasn't a reader, and I slapped some cold water in my face because I knew that when somebody showed up at that door, I was on. I needed to perform instantaneously. So the whole day goes by, and I'm pretty discouraged, I would say, would be fair to say. But I'm trying to keep that optimistic, positive attitude. And I see this lady walking a dog by out in front of the house. I could tell she was a neighbor lady. So I stepped out the door, and I waved. I said, "Hey, hi." She turned and looked at me. She says, "Can I see in the house?" And I said, "Sure, you bet." So she tied her dog up to the light post out there. She says, "Is that okay?" And I said, "Sure, yeah." It was a small dog. And she came on inside, and I greeted her, of course, with that friendly smile, and excited and enthused, and just I thought good practice for me. And I said, "Make yourself at home, go through the house." And she went all through the house, and she got back to me, and she said, "I wish we'd have bought this house, or one just like it." And I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "So you live here in the neighborhood?" She said, "Yeah, we live just catty corner across the street, 3 houses down. We just closed 90 days ago." And I said, "Wow." I said, "It's too bad this house wasn't on the market." I said, "There is a way for you to be able to get this house." And she goes, "No, my husband would never do that." She says, "I'm telling you, he'll never go for that." And I said, "Well, what if I could maybe show you a way that's possible?" And she said, "Well, that would be interesting to hear." And I said, "Well, here's the reality. This is one of the best-selling neighborhoods in the entire area." I was reinforcing what decision she'd already made and the house she was looking at. I said, and it was. Ravenwood was one of the best spots in Springfield. And I said, "The fact is, you guys have made a very good choice in the house you've bought. I realize you need a 4-bedroom as opposed to a 3-bedroom, and this one's a 4-bedroom, and yours is a 3-bedroom." I said, "The truth is, yours will sell really well. It's more likely to sell in Ravenwood because it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, than this one here that's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath." I said, and it'd be a good investment even if you had to keep it. I said, "So if you really want this house, you should grab it while you can." And she said, "Yeah, I know," but she said, "I'll never get my husband to do it." I said, "What's your husband doing right now?" She says, "Well, he's watching Kansas City Chiefs play right now." And I said, "Well, that game's going to be over in about 30 minutes. I said, "How about if I just hang around? You go back down, you just say to him, you just saw a house, just tell the truth, and that you just love for him to come see it." And I said, "And do me a favor." She goes, "What's that?" I said, "Don't ever ask him that you want it. Just tell him this is the house you really like. This is one you kind of wish we'd have got." And I said, "That's honest, right?" She said, "Yes." I said, "And then just see if you can just get him to get up out of that easy chair and come down here and just look at it. And then let him know it's going to be closing here shortly. That'll give him a sense of urgency. And you'd just like for him to walk through it real fast and peek at it." And she said, "Okay, I think I can do that." So she came back. Sure enough, about 35 minutes later, to the minute, I see him walking down the street. He's like, "Oh my gosh, she's dragging me to this open house." And here she comes. She's excited, They don't have the dog this time, which was nice. And so I greeted them both with a big smile, and he didn't even look me in the eyes. So he walks through the house, he looks at it, and I noticed that as she walks through, she never asked him if he would, "I wish we'd get this house." And he said, "Well, I do like it, honey." I said, "I wish we'd have had this house whenever it first came on the market." And he says, "Too bad that it wasn't available." And I said to him, I said, "I'm probably out of place to say this." I said, "But the reality is you guys made a great buy. You've got a good house." I said, "What did you pay for it?" And he told me, and I said, "I think we can get that back out of it." And I said, "Here's the thing. I'm just suggesting, but you could go ahead and get this house. We could set it up for a 60-day closing. In the meantime, get your house in the market and get it sold." And I said, "What the worst case scenario is, you end up with that house, which would be a good investment house, a good rental house." But I said, I will sell it." I said, "Heck, I'll sell it for 3% if I have to." So give me 60 days. If I haven't sold it, I'll drop the commission 3% and I'll still work it and sell it. He said, "Done deal. Let's do it." So the power of an open house is unbelievably powerful. You realize that in that day, in the beginning of my real estate career, I sold one of the higher end houses in Springfield, Missouri, 3 days on the market, and this was during a slower time in the market, and turned around and listed a house at the same time that was a neighbor down the street. It was the last house that it was the last person that came through. So anyway, come to the class. I can teach you a bunch of really cool stuff about how to open your own retail store in the business and start making money now.